Hello everyone, Chaos here, and welcome to another old school RuneScape video. Today, my revamped 1 to 99 crafting guide. This relatively easy skill will have you gather various amount of materials in the game and process them in many different ways to create new items. This includes ranged armor, jewelry, glass items, and many more. Traditionally, crafting is a relatively expensive skill to train, but we have a few methods that will break even or just give you a small amount of profit. But as any buyable skill, the rule of thumb is the more money, the quicker it will be. I highly recommend the crafting cape for the best bank teleport in the entire game. If you escapers find this video useful, you would help me out a lot by subscribing with notifications on, dropping a fat like, and you can even become a channel member with the join button below for tons of perks for your monetary support. By the way, you're gonna be seeing a few minutes of easy clue scroll footage because the crafting footage is just bank standing and it's pretty boring, so enjoy. These are all the quests that provide crafting experience as of the time of making this video. Remember that some of them have a crafting level requirement, and you may not be able to do them right away. Some quests offer decent experience if you're in the early game, but as we've seen before, being a buyable skill, it's just much better to get experience by processing items as long as they're available to you, or you're an unrestricted account. Crafting is actually the best skill in terms of requirements because if you want to get level 99 efficiently, you don't really need any of them whatsoever. Not even for a faster method locked behind a specific area or an item. The only quest we need for one of the alternative methods is Lunar Diplomacy. There is one spell in the Lunar Book we will be using for crafting and magic experience as well as a decent bit of profit, although it's kinda click intensive. Just like construction, crafting is another instance where pretty much all the useful items end up being specific tools for every single one of the methods, all of which are easily obtainable throughout areas in the general store and the Grand Exchange. For all the methods we will talk about, get yourself a needle and a bunch of thread, a chisel, a bracelet mold, a glass blowing pipe, and that's pretty much it. We will go over the materials for each method coming right up. For that one alternative method I mentioned before, it would be nice for you to have a rune pouch to save on inventory space. It's not life or death, but it will be incredibly useful for your account. And you can even upgrade it through the Tombs of a Mascot. The last part before we jump onto the training methods and a small explanation of how the guide will be conducted, it is time for useful Runelite Plugins. But I should shorten that to plugin for this guide as well. The reason for it is that crafting is yet another bank standing skill for which Idle Notifier will be our best friend. It will notify you when your character has stopped performing an action, so you can easily know when to keep crafting. Alright, before we continue, let's quickly talk about how crafting leveling works. If you remember my farming guide, you can plant to something new at pretty much every level, making the path to 99 a little bit confusing since you have so many options. In that video, I explained how I show you great ways to achieve the farming cape, giving extra information as to which crops to try if you wanted something new. Crafting is no different, and if you open the crafting guide by clicking on the skill icon in the game, the sheer number of things you can craft is pretty ridiculous. Even if most methods are divided by a specific activity, the list is pretty long. Because of this, the guide will focus on balanced, quick, cheap, and profitable methods which you can mix and match according to your budget. The first part of the guide will focus on a pretty cost-effective road to 99, and then I will mention which of the alternative methods are slow but profitable, quick but expensive, or balanced in both ways. That being said, let's begin. The very first thing you are going to do is get yourself around 220 pieces of leather, along with a needle and a bunch of thread. By using the needle on the leather, you will be able to pick between different types of leather items. At level 1, you can only make leather gloves. You are going to upgrade to leather boots at level 7, leather cowl at level 9, leather vamp braces at level 11, leather bodies at level 14, and finally leather chaps at level 18. You will reach your target, level 20, in just a few minutes. At level 20, you can get started with gem cutting. Start by buying 106 uncut sapphires and using a chisel on them to make the cut version of said gem. These 106 sapphires will get us to level 27, which is our next milestone to cut another gem. This is where you can start cutting emeralds, and this time you only need 156 for our next milestone. This is a good time to mention that you're not seeing experience per hour here because at lower levels and by cutting gems, getting our next important level is only a matter of minutes and you won't even be cutting gems for that long. Tangent aside, after 156 emeralds you will reach level 34. This is needed to cut uncut rubies into cut rubies, and this is where we are going to need a higher amount of them for our next level, which is 54. The reason why we are skipping diamonds is that there's not that much difference experience between these two gems, and diamonds are fairly more expensive. So, unless you want slightly more experience at a bigger loss, stick to rubies. We are graduating from gem cutting and moving on to something less AFK but juicier when it comes to experience per hour. At level 54, you can start making elemental Battlestaves, starting with the water type. This is the second cheapest one to craft, and all you need is a water orb and a battle staff. Use them on each other, and boom, you have a water battle staff. I guess I will group the next three together because, well, they are quite literally the same. The only difference being that you need a different element orb at each one. At level 58, you can start making Earth Battlestaves, which are the cheapest one to train with, and then Fire Battlestaves at level 62, and then Air Battlestaves at level 66. Why is this order in specific? Your guess is as good as mine. We are focusing on these because experience starts reaching the 300k per hour at near max efficiency with Fire Battlestaves, and they are honestly pretty cheap to make. The reason for this is because all of the materials needed come from commonly camped bosses for which people farm for cash. Battlestaves coming from many places, water orbs coming from the Phantom Uspa, earth orbs coming from Sire, fire orbs coming from Cerberus, and finally air orbs coming from Nex. But hey, we are on a crafting guide, not a lecture about where items come from. So let's continue. After that bit of information, we are jumping to red Dragonhide Bodies as we stop crafting Battlestaves at level 77. The reason why we don't craft the green Dragonhide Bodies is because it's less experience per hour than fire and the air Battlestaves, so grab a bunch of thread and use a needle on your tanned red dragon leather to start making bodies. This is slightly less AFK because you need 3 items per body, but it really pays off in the end. We will be doing this until level 99 because it's, in my opinion, the most balanced end game method to reach skill mastery. We will talk about one more training method in the next category, but we are not mentioning it here because it's a lot more expensive, and honestly the difference between them is not huge. So, boys and girls, onto the alternative training methods. The very first one is something you can do starting at level 7 and gradually goes up if you choose to combine other items. Grab a bracelet mold and the gold bars, and then go to your furnace of choice to make gold bracelets. These are profitable because gold bars are pretty cheap, and for some odd reason people choose to high alch them to profit. At higher levels you may instead grab 13 gold bars and 13 gems to make gem bracelets. People buy these to enchant them for their special effects or to high alch them as well, since their high alch value goes up according to the gem you used on it. This is just a small explanation as to why these will almost always be profitable and great to train with. A method I didn't know about until recently is making drift nets out of jute fiber at level 26. The best place to do this is Fossil Island because you will find a bank and a loom pretty close to each other. Drift nets will always be needed because, as we've mentioned in the fishing and hunter guide, people train with said skills through drift net fishing, for which it requires this item. It's relatively slow, but profit per hour at level 26 is really good. Technically you can start glass blowing at level 1, but it is most cost efficient to start this at level 46 with unpowered orbs, and then at level 49 with lantern lenses. You may also craft the light orbs at level 87, but keep in mind that you cannot sell these to the Grand Exchange for some unknown reason. I like this method a lot because it's what I used to go from level 90 to 99, so when you're done with your light orbs, simply throw them in the bank incinerator because you can't even note them. Up next we have a great hybrid training method. By using the Superglass mix spell in the Lunar Book, along with a giant seaweed and buckets of sand in your inventory, you will be making a disgusting amount of molten glass. The best setup is 3 giant seaweed and 18 buckets of sand for the best results, and when you cast the spell your inventory will be almost full with molten glass. In some cases you will make excess glass, all of which will fall to the ground. So make sure to pause every now and then to pick it up to avoid wasting money. This is why I recommend a rune pouch, but if you don't have one, simply wear a smoke battle staff and have astral runes in your inventory. The item is kind of expensive, so I'll leave that up to you. We go back to making Dragonhide Bodies, this time with a black dragon leather. I didn't include this in the main path to 99 because it's one of the most expensive methods to train with, and if you check experience per hour, it's not that much different to red Dragonhide. All you need is black dragon leather instead of red, and this is the absolute fastest experience per hour for crafting. And by saying that, I mean realistically, as cutting onyx, zenite is faster, along with the weird method for which you make keys in Prifinus, because these will be astronomically expensive. Last but not least, we will be buying Amethyst and turning them into dart tips. We are waiting until level 89 to work with Amethyst because darts are fairly profitable and will always be needed because of the blowpipe. Simply use a chisel on your Amethyst and wait for all of them to be crafted. Since you make one per action, it's pretty AFK and a lot better than glass blowing, which also requires low attention. Okay, and now for what a lot of you came for, the best, fastest, the cheapest, and most profitable ways to 99. I will have a few options for you according to your budget. The first option is to simply follow the guide step by step, from leather to gems, Battlestaves, and finally red Dragonhide Bodies. You won't be spending a lot of money for that absolutely insane crafting cape. When it comes to profit, you are going to make the highest tier of gem bracelet you can. As we said before, these will almost always be profitable because they're high alch value, and if you want even more experience, you can alch them yourself. For the fastest road to 99, you are going to do leather items from 1 to 20, gems from 20 to 62, including cut diamonds, which we didn't cover, Battlestaves from 63 to 77, red Dragonhide Bodies from 77 to 84, and finally black Dragonhide Bodies from 84 all the way to 99 for the quickest road to that shiny cape. The last path to 99 is the slow but AFK one, and we will work on glass blowing from 20 to 89, and finally Amethyst darts from 89 to 99. You could also focus on gold bracelets since you can do 27 per inventory, but will be less experience per hour. Ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it for the crafting guide. Thank you so much for coming and for making it this far. If you did, make sure to tell me how you would get level 99 crafting, or if you already have it. A massive thank you to all my channel members, you legends are absolutely amazing, and your support means a lot to me and my starving family. If you want to be a part of this list of highly respectable members of society, click the join button below to subscribe monetarily and receive a ton of benefits in the videos, in the live streams, and in the Discord. Stay tuned for the next video, and of course for the next 1 to 99 guide, where we will see how to achieve mastery in the wood cutting skill. Have an amazing day, have an amazing week, and I will see you then. Peace.